A student would create a presence, and then people would post to Juicy Campus completely anonymously things like fattest girls at UCLA, best blowjobs at Stanford, literally, and then anybody could just post to this anonymously. Juicy Campus was shut down, actually. It was one of the first websites that actually was shut down. It was kind of profoundly beautiful that somebody actually was willing to go to bat for that legally. But Yik Yak still exists. And Yik Yak, the tricky thing with Yik Yak is that it reflects as a domain and as a space online, it reflects a lot of those things that I talked about being important in digital spaces right now, in that it is hyper-local and it is hyper-dynamic, meaning that it only posts things to, like if we all were on Yik Yak right now, the things that it would give to us or feed to us are things that are happening within a 1 mile radius of us. Meaning students in high schools and colleges can use this to deeply, deeply, deeply bully very well and with 100% anonymity. So for instance, a university that I was recently speaking at in Texas was having a cultural awareness week, and there were some students on campus posting on Yik Yak through the entire conference incredibly racially hurtful and horrific things on Yik Yak, and then gaining an audience. So they were kind of creating this very hostile environment for an event that was intended to be this beautiful thing. And this is what's happening kind of all the time. So we need to be able to be aware of this so that we can teach young adults, and we ourselves can continue to create opportunities to develop resilience, to develop emotional regulation, to develop empathy. The tricky thing is, if you look at the psychological construct of empathy, empathy really only can grow in an individual that has a deeply, profoundly internal locus of control, who is resilient and has some sense of emotional regulation. And if these traits aren't in place, empathy cannot exist, because there's then this constant need, I'm not being empathic with your experience, I'm needing you to take care of how I should feel about myself. So I'm willing to pander or do whatever is needed to make that occur. Another tricky thing about developing this sense of self is that we now live in a time where we basically believe that soothing ourselves is by stimulating ourselves. So we soothe ourselves with things like Trivia Crack. Before that, it was Candy Crush. Before that, it was Angry Birds. And these are all games that are literally, you ask, at the American Medical Association conference, American Psychiatric Association conference several years back, they actually, as a spoof, held a 12-step group for Angry Bird addicts. And it was a joke, but so many people showed up that they actually kind of made it a thing. And then you'll hear, or you'll see in the literature when they report on it, how many even physicians and psychologists would say, like, or psychiatrists would say, like, I deleted it, but then I had to reload it. I mean, literally, these things capture our attention.